There comes a point in life when you've tried, failed, been knocked down, and questioned if it's even worth continuing. But listen to me carefully. It's not over until you win. Every setback you faced wasn't a signal to stop. It was a test to see how badly you really want it. Life doesn't reward the ones who start strong. It rewards the ones who refuse to stop when everything falls apart. You might be tired, you might be doubting yourself, but you're not done yet, not even close. Because the moment you decide to keep going, to fight one more round, to push one more day, that's when everything starts to change. In this video, I'll share 3 powerful rules that will help you rise again, rebuild your fire, and remind you that as long as you're breathing, your story isn't finished, it's just getting started. Rule number 1, fail, learn, rise. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning of everything that matters. The hidden path that most people are too afraid to walk. The furnace where strength, wisdom, and greatness are forged. Every failure you've ever faced, every door that slammed in your face, every opportunity you thought you lost, it wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The moment you fall, the moment life knocks you down, you have 2 choices. Stay down and become another story of regret, or rise stronger, smarter, and more relentless than ever before. Learning from failure is the ultimate shortcut to mastery, because each mistake holds a lesson, a clue, a roadmap to what works and what doesn't. Most people avoid mistakes because they fear embarrassment, disappointment, or pain. But the truth is, avoiding failure guarantees stagnation, mediocrity, and a life of what-ifs. To rise, you must embrace the discomfort, confront your flaws, and admit where you went wrong without excuses or blame. It's not enough to simply survive a failure. You have to dissect it, understand it, and extract every piece of wisdom hidden inside. When you do this consistently, you develop resilience, character, and perspective that no comfort, no success, and no easy victory could ever teach you. Failing doesn't make you weak. Refusing to learn from it does. Every successful person in history has failed, and not once, not twice, but countless times. What separates the winners from the rest is not that they never fell, it's that they refused to stay down, that they rose again and again, each time a little wiser, a little tougher, a little more prepared for the challenges ahead. And rising isn't a one-time event, it's a habit, a daily commitment, a mindset. You fall, you analyze, you adjust, you improve, and then you rise. This cycle becomes unstoppable momentum when done with relentless discipline. Every failure is a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey that leads you closer to your true potential. If you fear failure, you fear growth. If you refuse to rise, you refuse your destiny. But if you embrace every misstep, every rejection, every obstacle as a lesson, then you begin to build an unshakable foundation. Confidence isn't built in success. It's built in the courage to stand up every time you're knocked down. Wisdom isn't gained in victory. It's gained in the reflection of defeat. Strength isn't developed in comfort. It's forged in adversity, in the fire of repeated failure, and in the determination to rise again each time stronger than before. When you truly understand this, failure becomes fuel that propels you forward, fuels your ambition, sharpens your focus, and ignites a hunger that cannot be satisfied by temporary success or fleeting victories. You begin to see failure as a friend, not an enemy, because it teaches you faster than any mentor, harder than any challenge, and more honestly than any cheerleader. Rising after failure builds a mindset that fear cannot shake, doubt cannot penetrate, and obstacles cannot stop. It cultivates patience, persistence, and perspective, because you learn that success is rarely immediate, that mastery requires repeated effort, and that greatness is the cumulative result of countless rises after countless falls. So, when you fail, and you will don't shrink, don't hide, and don't give up. Fail boldly, learn ruthlessly, and rise with unrelenting power, knowing that each cycle of failure and recovery is molding you into a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. Remember, every great story is written with chapters of failure followed by rises of triumph. You cannot skip the falls, they are part of your blueprint. What you can control is how you respond. Whether you let failure define you or whether you use it to redefine yourself, the choice is yours. Fall, learn, and rise, repeat endlessly, and you will become unstoppable. Every setback becomes a setup for your comeback. Every mistake becomes a masterclass in strategy, and every defeat becomes the catalyst for unprecedented growth. When you commit to this, failure no longer frightens you. It excites you because you know that the more you fail, the more you learn, and the more you rise, the closer you are to becoming the person capable of achieving anything you desire. You will face moments when quitting seems easier, when doubt feels louder, when pain overwhelms you, but it is precisely in those moments that rising matters most. Every rise after failure strengthens your resolve, sharpens your vision, and proves to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that you are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you respond. Fail, learn, rise, not once, not twice, but as a relentless habit that transforms your life, your mindset, your destiny. Embrace it fully, and you will discover that failure is not your enemy, but your most powerful teacher, and rising is not optional. It is inevitable for anyone who refuses to settle for mediocrity and is determined to achieve extraordinary results. Rule number 2, never quit, keep pushing. Quitting is the silent thief that steals dreams, potential, and the future you've been working for without you even noticing. And the moment you decide to give up is the moment your destiny slips through your fingers. Life doesn't hand out victories to those who walk away at the first sign of struggle, discomfort, or failure. It gives them to the ones who refuse to quit, who push harder when everyone else would have stopped, who rise up when their body, mind, and circumstances are screaming at them to surrender. The path to success is never smooth. It's littered with setbacks, betrayals, mistakes, and moments that make you question everything about yourself, your choices, and your dreams. But here's the truth. The people who achieve greatness, the ones who leave a mark, the ones who inspire generations, they didn't quit. They didn't give up when the results weren't immediate. They didn't stop when the weight was crushing them, when their energy was depleted, when their confidence was shaken, or when the world told them they weren't enough. They kept pushing because they understood that every obstacle, every challenge, every failure was not a reason to quit, but an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what's next. You see, quitting is easy. Anyone can do it. But pushing through pain, pushing through fear, pushing through doubt, that's what separates the mediocre from the extraordinary. The moment you decide to keep going, even when everything inside you screams to stop, you start to change. You start to build an unbreakable mindset, a resilience that no setback can shatter, and a determination that no external force can bend. Life will test you relentlessly. It will throw challenges at you that seem impossible to overcome. It will break your routines, it will shake your confidence, and it will tempt you to quit. But the ones who win, the ones who achieve what most people only dream about, they make a choice to push, to persist, to rise every single time, no matter how many times they've fallen. Consistency in effort, relentlessness in pursuit, and refusal to quit, that's what transforms ordinary people into legends. Every step forward, no matter how small, compounds over time into unstoppable momentum. Every day you choose to keep going, you accumulate experience, knowledge, strength, and wisdom that cannot be gained any other way. It's in the moments when quitting feels like the only option that you create, the breakthroughs that define your life. You may feel exhausted, overwhelmed, or even defeated, but the act of pushing through these moments is where transformation happens. It is in these crucibles of adversity that your character is forged, your courage is tested, and your limits are expanded. Remember, success is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It is earned by those who refuse to quit. Every champion, every billionaire, every visionary, every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary has one thing in common. They kept going when everyone else stopped. They kept working when the world said it was pointless. They kept believing when doubt and fear whispered that it was over. Pushing forward is not just an action. It is a mindset, a declaration that no matter what happens, you will not be defeated. And the beauty of persistence is that it compounds invisibly. Your effort builds upon effort. Your courage grows with each challenge faced, and your skill and strategy sharpen with every obstacle overcome. Quitting might feel comfortable in the moment, but it always comes with regret. Pushing forward might hurt, might be exhausting, might feel endless, but it always comes with growth, mastery, and the satisfaction of knowing you gave everything you had and then some. So when life pushes you to the edge, when failure seems inevitable, when fear is screaming louder than hope, remember this: quitting is the only guaranteed way to fail. The only way to win, the only way to reach the heights you're capable of, is to keep pushing, keep striving, keep moving forward, even when every part of you wants to stop. Every moment you choose perseverance over surrender, you are building a life that reflects your potential, your vision, and your power. Every drop of sweat, every late night, every sacrifice, every push through pain is creating the foundation of a future that few can even imagine. Pushing forward isn't easy, and it isn't meant to be. It's what separates those who dream from those who live their dreams. Keep going when it's hard. Keep going when you're tired. Keep going when it seems hopeless. Keep going when nobody believes in you but yourself. That is the difference between ordinary lives and extraordinary legacies. Refuse to quit, embrace the struggle, and push with everything you have, because victory is always reserved for those who refuse to stop until they reach it. The storm will pass, the obstacle will fade, and the challenge will become a stepping stone, but only if you keep pushing. Quitting guarantees failure, but pushing guarantees growth, transformation, and the realization of your potential. Every step, every effort, every moment of resistance against giving up brings you closer to the person you were meant to become. So rise, fight, endure, and push, because it's not over until you win, and the only way to truly lose is to stop moving forward. Rule number 3, believe until you win. Belief is the invisible force that separates those who achieve greatness from those who merely exist. The silent engine that powers every extraordinary success, every historic comeback, and every dream turned into reality. To believe until you win is not about wishful thinking or idle hope. It's about cultivating an unshakable conviction in yourself, in your vision, and in the inevitable outcome of your relentless effort. Every champion, every innovator, every person who has ever changed their life against all odds had one thing in common. They believed in themselves when nobody else did, they held on to their vision when the world doubted them, and they refused to let temporary failure, ridicule, or setback erode their faith. Belief is not passive. It demands action. It demands discipline, persistence, and courage in the face of uncertainty. It means showing up every day, putting in the work, and trusting that your effort will compound, that every small victory, every failure learned from, every step forward is pushing you closer to the ultimate prize. When you believe until you win, you stop seeing obstacles as insurmountable barriers and start seeing them as challenges to overcome, as opportunities to grow, as tests that strengthen your resolve. You begin to understand that the universe responds to certainty, to unrelenting faith, and to the energy of someone who refuses to back down. Even when circumstances are grim, when progress is invisible, when doubt whispers that you're wasting your time, belief becomes your compass, guiding you forward, fueling your motivation, and keeping your vision alive when everything else tries to extinguish it. It turns fear into courage, hesitation into action, and impossibility into inevitable success. People will tell you it's too hard, that you're aiming too high, that the odds are against you, and you will have to ignore them, not arrogantly, but with calm certainty, knowing that their limitations do not define your potential. Belief until you win is about seeing the invisible, trusting the process, and acting as though your victory is already written, because the mind cannot distinguish between what is imagined with conviction and what is real. Your body, your actions, and your decisions will align with your belief, and suddenly, doors that were once closed begin to open. Opportunities appear where none existed. Ideas crystallize, relationships strengthen, and your vision starts manifesting in tangible ways. But this kind of belief is tested constantly. Doubt will creep in, failure will try to convince you that you're wrong, setbacks will attempt to shake your faith, people will laugh at your persistence, and the world will seem indifferent to your effort. And in these moments, you must hold even tighter. You must double down on your conviction, push harder than ever, and remind yourself that the journey of the determined is never easy, but it is always worth it. Belief until you win is not a guarantee that it will be simple. It is a guarantee that your effort will never be wasted, that your persistence will carve a path through resistance, and that your faith will transform impossibility into reality. You must visualize the finish line as if you've already crossed it. You must feel the victory in your bones, hear it in your mind, and act in alignment with it every single day. Belief fuels resilience, and resilience fuels action, and action compounds into results. Those who win are not those who never struggle. They are those who believe so deeply that struggle becomes a stepping stone, challenge becomes a teacher, and every obstacle becomes an opportunity to reinforce their faith in themselves. When you decide to believe until you win, you create an unstoppable force. You no longer rely on motivation because belief carries you when motivation fades. You no longer rely on luck because belief makes you a magnet for opportunity. You no longer fear failure because belief teaches you that every setback is temporary, every loss is a lesson, and every detour is part of a larger plan leading to your ultimate triumph. Belief until you win transforms you into a warrior of your own destiny, a relentless pursuer of your goals, and a master of your mind and energy. You begin to operate at a level where excuses cannot survive, doubts cannot linger, and fear cannot dominate. You move forward with certainty, even when the path is unclear, because you trust your preparation, your persistence, and your potential. Keep believing, even when it seems impossible, even when progress feels slow, even when nobody else sees what you see. Keep believing until your actions, your results, and your life prove to the world and to yourself that you were unstoppable all along. Because the truth is simple. The ones who truly win are not always the most talented, the luckiest, or the smartest they are. The ones who believe without question, act without hesitation, and persist without end. Believe until you win, and you will discover that the power to create your future, to overcome any obstacle, and to achieve every goal you dare to set has been within you all along, waiting for your unwavering conviction to awaken.